What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bigger. Welcome to the very first episode one of the Bald, Black, and Brilliant podcast. Let me get a round of applause. Got a little soundboard, like you see my little setup. It's still a work in progress, but I got the most important component. And more importantly, I have the motivation to actually start. It's going to give you a little bit of background about myself for those of you who might be finding me organically as opposed to being one of my followers on Instagram. On Instagram, I have the handle Wise Words 1974. And that's pretty much the same across all social media at this point. I am going to be starting the Bald, Black, and Brilliant page on Instagram, which is going to be focused on clips from the podcast, upcoming things, premieres, stuff like that. Of course, all of that is going to be way shorter now that I actually have the podcast going. And as of right now, I'm not sure when you're watching this, but as of day one, it is going to be on YouTube. I'm going to also get it on Spotify and a few other places that I've been looking into, but I wanted to actually get something shot first. So um, just so you're aware, I am brand new to this. 100% brand new to this. I do a little bit of editing for my IG post, but not really. So this is, at least the first few episodes are going to be a work in progress. So don't kill me in the comments. All right. I don't know if I can actually say that word. It's so weird, like having to be not even mindful or politically correct. There's just so many new rules and regulations and constrictions put on language right now on social media. So that's definitely have to be mindful of that. Anyway, though, I wanted to give you a little bit of background as to who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm Bigger. For those of you who do not know me, like I said, I am a 51-year-old resident, 51-year-old black man, uh, originally from Brooklyn, New York. I now live on the West Coast. I am married to a first generation Israeli woman on her dad's side. We've been together for 23 years. We have two very handsome, very intelligent sons together. And I have learned so much from my wife on her journey. And this is her story to tell, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds. But growing up, she was not really connected to her Jewish heritage. And a few years after we met, she started to embark on her journey of learning her roots and culture. And I was able to kind of piggyback off of that and just learn a lot. Now, as for me, I am a avid history buff, right? And on top of that, I love facts. I love to speak, as you see. And so it was a lot of education for both of us, but I had to unlearn a lot of things that I had been taught, I would say, just living my life around non-Jewish people. So there were a lot of misconceptions and things of that nature. So my online journey, I would say, started some years back. I actually had another uh, Instagram page that was nowhere near as popular as the one that I have now is. But my focus was at that point a lot on political stuff and a lot about just Black excellence and Black empowerment, Black history, things of that nature. And I ended up taking that page down. And when I came back, I decided that I only really wanted to focus on Black excellence and education and things of that nature, and kind of steer a bit further away from the politics, only because it has become so polarized that it's very hard to get actually in an in-depth, intellectually honest conversation to happen. So because of those constrictions, that's the real reason why I really stopped talking about politics. And I still do talk about politics here and there. I try my best to only speak about American politics, but if something is happening around the world that I find interesting, I would talk about it, right? So uh, once I got the page back, I also had once I started the new page, I should say, I also started a TikTok, and I would pretty much have the same kind of the same post, on both, and I was getting a lot more steam, if you, I guess that's what you would call it, on TikTok. But I still would make sure that I posted, the same stuff on Instagram. And I think I want to say I had about 5 or 6 thousand followers on TikTok, and less than 1,000, like 860 or something like that on Instagram, right? So my main focus at that point was was TikTok, and I got with a bunch of well-known creators over there who posted a lot, and they would amplify my work as well. They would let me come on their lives and have all of these conversations, and we spoke about literally everything, and we would have some really good in-depth debates, right? And we didn't always agree, and I don't believe that if I always agree with the people that are around me, I'm probably around the wrong people, right? Just like if you're always the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. Same kind of thing, right? But on TikTok, it was a bunch of different people. So I was really happy about that. I was making the necessary inroads and being included. Like it was be times where people would actually hit me up throughout the course of the day, like, hey, I'm going to be going live at 7 p.m. Pacific. Are you available to join in, or when can you join, and stuff like that? So that was all like, just real cool. And like I said, my page was growing, not necessarily at a super fast rate, but for what I was doing, I was very, very, very satisfied with it. Now, uh, what ended up happening was October 7th, right? Excuse me. And well, this is how October 7th went for me in my household. The night before, my wife and I had gone out and, had a bunch of fun, and I was sleeping late. I woke up to my wife crying, right? So I asked her, Babe, what's wrong? And I'll never forget it. What she said to me was, Israel is being attacked by air, land, and sea. Now, in my defense, I'm halfway asleep. I'm not tipsy anymore, but I'm super, super groggy. And that really just sounded like some movie shit to me. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like I was like, oh, okay. And no lie, I was like, are you okay? She's like, well, yeah, I'm here. I said, well, how's the family, right? Because my wife's like half of her family is in Israel, right? So, I asked that question, and she's like, they're okay. One of my cousins, her apartment, she had to evacuate her apartment because right next door to her, a rocket struck, right? So, with that, I went back to sleep. However many hours later, I wake up and she's still in bed, which that for me was number one, like, what the hell? But, she might have went downstairs while I was sleeping. I don't even remember how long I had slept, right? So I asked her again what was going on, and she told me, and I picked up my phone and I started to see the footage. And the first thing that I did was apologize for going back to sleep. Like I really, honestly did not. It was brand new to me. Like this was something that I had never seen before, and I really didn't even really know how to process it. Right. So throughout the day, information is coming in, and I'm seeing all of these different posts. I saw the stuff that the Hamas holds posted themselves, right? in addition to all of the other footage that was going around. And I went to TikTok, and all of the people, all of the creators that I was rocking with, nobody had said anything. And I thought that was kind of odd. But in my mind, I was like, okay, well, they're probably just waiting for, for all the information to come through before, they start speaking on it. So fast forward that night, I had a shitty night's sleep, and I woke up the next day with everything obviously still on my mind, and I go to TikTok and nobody has said anything. And I'm scrolling on Instagram and nobody is saying anything. And it's not really being talked about on the news other than there was some attack that happened in Israel, and that was pretty much the extent of it. And at the same time, uh, I was seeing protests and people being pro-Palestine and condemning Israel the that day and the day after they were attacked. And I was like, that's wild, wild. And a couple hours passed, and I'm still not seeing anything from any of the creators that have way larger pages than I have, way bigger platform, been around on TikTok doing their thing way longer. I didn't hear anything from any of them, right? My wife and I had to go and run some errands. As she's upstairs getting dressed, I decided that I was going to go and record a quick video. The video is still on my page. Basically, all I said was, I don't care what side of the conflict you find yourself on. If you are not condemning rape, or if you're standing with rape, I will stand on you. I don't think that that's a hot take. Even to this day, I don't think that this is a hot take. And part of the reason that I was becoming frustrated with the people on TikTok is because we had plenty of conversations about sexual assault, right? And the fact that we knew that these things had happened and nobody had said anything, was, like I said, it was weighing heavy on me, but I didn't want to get too far into it, right? So I said that, and that was it. Went about my day. Fast forward, me and the wife were done with our day, and she's online, and she's like, "Oh my God, Sarah Silverman reposted you." It's like, what? And then she starts naming all of these other people, and I'm like, well, that's odd, but okay, because not too many people are actually speaking about the situation, so it kind of made sense. And I wasn't used to at this point. I wasn't used to getting DMs and stuff like that, and because of that, it was I'm still kind of on a learning curve, I guess you would say. And I'm starting to go through the DMs, and the first couple hundred were from Jews or Israeli people, and they were like, "Hey, listen, you don't know what this means to us, right? As far as having somebody other than us speaking out against what happened." And right after those first couple hundred messages, let's call it 500, right? I don't know what the exact number was. But after that 500 messages, the next, I do not want to exaggerate, the next 2 to 3 thousand that I got were either super racist or anti-Semitic or threats, right? What they were going to do to me, what they were going to do to my family, my mom, like all sorts of stuff. Now, a little bit of background about myself. I am from Brooklyn, New York. And I'm not from the gentrified Brooklyn. I was born in 1974. You understand what I'm saying? So I experienced the crack era in Brooklyn. You understand? So my skin is thick, and I've seen a lot. So with that said, confrontation is not something that I find myself willing to back down from, especially not online. Like, I don't take anything seriously online. Like, if you see me in the street, do something. I got something for you. That's really just how I look at it. But what was happening was I was getting so much fallout, and I was returning that energy. I actually got my account suspended for a couple of days, or like my privileges to respond to stuff suspended for a couple of days. So it was that experience to me was just really, really wonky, really, really weird, but it was really interesting, and I wanted to document it. And documenting everything is exactly what I have been doing, and try my best to educate people in the same vein. And at the same time, trying to figure out a way to combat all of the trolls that I get, because I don't like the idea of them hiding behind a keyboard and even feeling like they have accomplished something by trolling. So um, those are my main motivations, right? And in addition to that, I thought that it would be very important to kind of hold up the mirror to everyone. And I understand that, being perfectly honest, I didn't think that, we would be almost 2 years into this situation. But with that said, I didn't believe that within a few weeks or a few months, people would start to self correct, right? Especially because, like, when I say I got thousands and this is just the first couple hours, right? That post was up. I had gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of threats and trolls and all of this kind of stuff. And I really felt that I was going to continue to experience that as long as I spoke about what I was speaking about. And I decided that I was going to continue to speak about this at least until bigger pages than mine started to speak about it. And then maybe I would fall back, or whatever the case may be. And that just unfortunately never happened. Um, at the same time, I noticed a few things. Like, I noticed on October 7th and October 8th in the US, there were protests. And in these protests, people are condemning Israel, right? Now, Israel is literally still trying to, for lack of a better term, clean up the mess. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's so much death, so much destruction. The largest Jewish casualty count since the Holocaust, right? And on top of that, people were stolen, right? Literally taken hostage. So there was a whole lot that these people are dealing with, and they were not even allowed the opportunity or the time or grace to mourn before they had to start kind of defending themselves. And I'm watching this and I'm like, yo, all of these people that I've been talking to all of these years, all of the Jews, all of the Israeli people that I've been speaking to throughout these years, like, I'm not going to lie. And I've said this before. If you follow me on Instagram, you've heard me say it. I honestly thought that a lot of this was hyperbole. I really thought that it was a lot of just not fear mongering, but I felt that there was so much internalized fear amongst the Jewish community that they just viewed any and everything as this super big threat. And I was seeing in real time that they were not lying, that they were not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. This is really gonna go bad. And again, I felt that it was important for me to document it. And I also, if I'm being honest, a few years ago when everything was going on here in America with the Black Lives Matter rally and rallying around Black folk because of all of the violence that we were experiencing, I had a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Israeli people holding me and my family down, checking in on me and my family, making sure that we were okay. So I felt that it was only right, if anything, that I reciprocate that. You know what I'm saying? And because it came so natural, I was doing it before I even really started to think about it. And to this day, it feels weird when people thank me, because I don't feel that anybody should be thanked for doing the right thing. You know what I mean? But this is the world that we live in. Going back to the very beginning of it all, a few days after uh, the attack, I was actually not. banned from Instagram, but like I was restricted. So I couldn't respond to DMs. I couldn't post for a couple days. I couldn't go live. As a matter of fact, I couldn't go live. No exaggeration. I couldn't go live for like 9 months. I still don't know why. I just got my ability to go live back, I want to say about 2 months ago, and I still haven't even gone live because I'm fearful that my page is gonna, go down again, and it's just a whole lot of hassle to have to do that. I stay shadow banned, but at this point I'm used to it. The people who rock with me have kind of figured out that they kind of need to seek me out, rather seek my post out, because I don't appear in the timeline. And probably a big part of that is because a lot of my videos are well over 3 to 5 minutes long. You know what I mean? Because I kind of go off on these little tangents, and the way that my brain works, if something pops in, I usually just have to get it out. So that's one thing I want everybody to know as I start to do these podcasts. I am going to have scripts and certain data points that I'm going to be focusing on, but a lot of this is probably going to be freestyle because that's just how I operate. So be prepared for that. As far as what you can expect from the Ball Black and Brilliant podcast, you can definitely expect me to be breaking down and educating people as far as the situation between Israel and the Hamas holds. You're also going to get a lot of Black educational posts or pods from me. I cook. I enjoy cooking, so you might get some of me in the kitchen. If you're 420 friendly, I might have some special recipes that you might be interested in. In addition to that, I do plan on having some guests on. This setup right now is not my actual setup. When I debut that, I'm super excited about it. So when I do debut that, you will know, I promise. But I felt that it was important that I actually start doing them rather, and let the evolution happen as it happens, because I constantly get people asking me, well, when are you going to start the potty? When are you going to start the potty? When are you going to start the potty? And I had a lot of people, which I want to show my appreciation right now for anyone who donated to the GoFundMe. And if you still want to donate, there are still things that I'm trying to get. With that said, my goal is to go through the complete gambit and have you get to know me. I plan on getting to know you. And like I said, I'm going to have different people on, so it's going to be heavy on the education, but I do like to have fun. Despite what some people might believe, this is not my entire existence. So I do plan on including you guys on some of the aspects of my life, aside from what I'm doing as far as being a pro-Israel advocate, right? One of the things, and I don't think that people really understand this aspect of me. A big part of the reason that I am doing what I'm doing and have done all of what I have done is because I understand that there is no perfect government, right? I also understand that just like in America, before October 7th, 2023, the Israeli people were trying to correct their government, right? So the idea that everybody in Israel is on the same page is ludicrous to me. That's like saying everybody in America is on the same page. And if you're here and if you have any access to news, you know that that is not the case, right? So I wanted to show that aspect, that Israel is not a monolith. And I also wanted people to understand that what is happening in the West has very, very, very little to do with the Israeli government. The reason that I say that is because you're not affecting the Israeli government by attacking people in the United States. You're not doing anything that is going to affect Benjamin Netanyahu by blocking people from getting their college education. You're not helping a single Palestinian, right? If you are doing these encampments, like none of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. And I felt that it was important to shed the light on the actual anti-Semitism of it all, right? Because regardless to how you feel about what you have seen over the last 20 months, the anti the anti-Semitic sentiment was thriving in America the day of October 7th. They were showing what they felt and who they supported on October 7th. And it was not the people who were attacked, right? When I saw on the Black Lives Matter page, when I saw them amplify the, the the parachute dude that went down into the festival, or one of them, when I saw that they put that up, like when I tell you the amount of disgust that I felt as a black man who has screamed Black Lives Matter. And I, like, on my other page, I even did posts talking about the founders of Black Lives Matter and what it meant. And like, I felt like a complete asshole, right? Because I then understood that these people did not care about humanity. And I also, and I peeped this very, very early, I also understood that that movement of BLM had been hijacked by these pro-Pally fuckwads, right? And I wanted to, and I've been doing it, I'm going to be doing it way more, but I wanted to expose the hypocrisy in that movement. I wanted to expose the rampant racism in the Arab Islamist community. And the best way for me to do that was to create the post that I was creating and to present the facts that I was presenting and evolving into doing this podcast. So that is the foundation of why I am here, of why I am so passionate, of why I am so consistent, and why I'm not going to stop. It's not that I enjoy pissing the world off. Okay, I do enjoy pissing the world off, but I find it very interesting that me presenting facts pisses so many people off. So with that said, I don't want the podcast to be super long, and I don't want people to be super bored. So I'm going to try to end this here. Hopefully it'll get edited and it'll look nice and sound great and all of the things, but this is a work in progress. This is Potty 1. So it can only get better from here. It definitely should not get any worse. So I'm going to sign out. Protect your peace, everybody, and have the day that you deserve.